My bad. I was jamming. Lost track of time. Let's see. How's everybody doing? Let me see what's going on my phone. Here, let me check it out here. Okay. Okay. I'm live and alone, as generally it is. I'm live. Shit. Sorry. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Got a lot of stuff going on with the Kylie case and everything. So everybody's busy doing that. But I did want to pay tribute to 9/11 because everybody knows where they were when this happened. And I know I do. And it was terrifying. It was sad. It was devastating. It's like the whole world stopped when this happened. September 11th, Tuesday, 2001. People were going about their daily lives, unaware of what was to come. "8:46 a.m. The first plane hit the North Tower around the 80th floor, and it was said to be a 737 small aircraft. People watched in horror. I know. I was on my way to work, going down the highway, and I heard it on the radio. And I thought, oh my God, how terrible. Not actually thinking of what was to happen, what was to come. And then we had the second plane at 9:03 a.m. a 767. The first was a American Airlines. The second was a Boeing. That's when we knew we were being attacked. And it wasn't just New York. It was the whole United States. One hour, approximately a little over. The first tower to hit was the North Tower, and it fell at 9:59. Everyone on the floors of both of these buildings that were above where the plane hit were trapped. They went up to escape the flames, thinking a helicopter would save them from the roof. And they were taken over by the smoke. Most of them jumped. And that was probably, I could not imagine being there. Seeing that on TV was bad enough. It was said that the people above where the planes hit, there were no survivors. For a long time, I didn't go anywhere on 9/11. I didn't go anywhere today either. Just a paralyzing fear, I guess. And then U.S. Flight 93. Crashes in a field in Pennsylvania. The World Trade Center. Number 7 collapses. At 10:28. President Bush, George W. Bush, was president at that time, and he ordered a no-fly zone. And that was scary. It was good that he did that, but it was scary. The west side of the Pentagon was hit at 9:37. American Airlines Flight 77. Total of 2,977 people died that day. Almost 3,000 people. That's a lot of people in one day. A lot of them were the firefighters, first responders. And a lot of them, even after time went by, they were falling ill due to the asbestos and stuff that fell that day. All the survivors, which, let me see where there was survivors at. Now, there was the Prime Minister of Australia here at that time in the United States. And without considering anyone in Australia, he said he would stand, their country of Australia would stand beside us and fight this. Because the Al-Qaeda, that's what it was, Iraq took blame for this. 200,000 civilians died over there. 4,431 of them were Americans and 4 were Australians during our fight over there. 3 million Kurds had been displaced, left homeless. That's a lot of people. Estimated cost of this war that we fought, $2 trillion. It's ridiculous. Okay. In my research, I found that in these Twin Towers, 16 people, just 16 survived. Thank God for them. But 16, when we had almost 3,000 die, I don't want our generation of today to go through and not learn details about this in school. They need to know the facts, the true facts about this, not just what I came up with. You know, when my son was in school, I was asking, well, did you learn this in history? Did you learn that in history? No. He would say no. They didn't have history class. I asked the school. They said that they didn't get history until 11th grade. I wanted to know why. Because you cannot learn history in 2 years. 11th and 12th grade. Well, they didn't have the funding. I was disappointed because there's a lot to learn. History, you know, kids may not use history as far as their job, but who knows, they may. History is a part of our country. And I am very I love history. Um it's a part of who we are. You know, we have people now getting ancestry.com and all that. That's history. We need our children to understand this was a situation that should never happen. And it's something that they need to always continue to learn about. This is part of history. There's a lot that's happened to our country that I think is very important for kids to understand and learn about. Hello, Marcy. I'll never forget it. You know, the most terrifying thing was watching people jump because they knew they were going to die. But they were desperate, you know, and I don't know. I am going to um, share my screen here. Let's see. Okay. This is so sad. Uh,
Our number one's been stabbed, and our five has been stabbed.
What?
Daddy? Daddy? What? Who else talking to? Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, 175 New York. We have some problems over here right now. We might have a hijack over here, too. Jill, this is on an airplane that's been hijacked. And things will go well. I'm going to do this. I just want you to know, like, absolutely for you. I want you to do good. Go have some fun. Same for my parents and everybody. And I just totally love you. And hopefully, like that. Okay. Oh my God, the boat tower now. I got aircraft now, east of the White House. Crystal City, just going to Crystal City. Yeah, stop all partners. I can't protect my NCA. United 93, that traffic 3 is 1 o'clock, 12 miles east on 370. Negative contact, we're looking at United 93. United 93, Cleveland, if you hear the sound right now. They got that big stop. Get ready to me. Get out the wall.
9:47 a.m. Hi, baby. Baby, you have to listen to me carefully. I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, baby. I hope to be able to see your face again, baby. I love you. Bye.
456-865. We have I believe it is a Boeing 757. Can you see him up there, sir?
That's concerned. It looks like he's rocking his wings.
Roger.
He's rocking back and forth.
456-865. You stay away from that aircraft. Go north as fast as you can.
United 93. Have you got information on that yet?
Yeah, he's down.
He's down?
Yes.
When did he land?
He did not land.
Oh, he's down?
Yeah,
Down?
somewhere up northeast of Camp David.
You gotta help each other get off the floor.
That's hard to watch. That is very hard to listen to. But that's what we need to not forget, those people. I'm a firm believer in not letting people die in vain. I'm a very firm believer in that. When people pass away, one person or 3,000, don't let them die in vain. These people have been honored. They have a great memorial and everything, but they are not here. It's a part of our history, and it needs to be talked about. Very sad. Oops. I did something wrong there. Let's see. I'm going to do something here. It was something I seen the other day. Oh no. Really? Huh.
So you were one of the first people, or you were actually the one to tell Autumn's father that she was alive. I imagine that was an incredibly emotional moment. What was that like?
It was incredible for me to be able to give that information. I have a 16-year-old son myself, so being able to call him, he was actually taking a nap at the time. So I was just like, we have to wake him up. Please get him on the phone. So he was still a little sleepy when I told him that Autumn walked out and that she was safe. Just sort of paused for a moment, took a moment, and just went, what?
I want to listen to Autumn's 911 call after she made it off that mountain. Take a listen.
So tell me exactly what happened.
I was riding from Kalispell, Montana to Bellingham, Washington, and about, well, I don't know where, but we crashed, and I was the only one that made it out.
Okay. Made it out from the collision or survived?
Yeah, the only one that survived.
Okay. Are you injured at all?
Yeah, I have a lot of burns on my hands, and I'm like kind of covered in bruises and scratches and stuff.
Amazing how calm she is in the 911 call.
Oh no, did you miss that? I'm going to do this again. What happened here? This is amazing. Come on here.
The first people, or you were
There we
actually
go.
the one to tell Autumn's father that she was alive. I imagine that was an incredibly emotional moment. What was that like?
It was incredible for me to be able to give that information. I have a 16-year-old son myself, so being able to call him, he was actually taking a nap at the time. So I was just like, we have to wake him up. Please get him on the phone. So he was still a little sleepy when I told him that Autumn walked out and that she was safe. Just sort of paused for a moment, took a moment, and then just went, what?
I want to listen to Autumn's 911 call after she made it off that mountain. Take a listen.
So tell me exactly what happened.
I was riding from Kalispell, Montana to Bellingham, Washington, and about, well, I don't know where, but we crashed and I was the only one that made it out.
Okay. Made it out from the collision or survived?
Yeah, the only one that survived.
Okay. Are you injured at all?
Yeah, I have a lot of burns on my hands and I'm like kind of covered in bruises and scratches and stuff.
Amazing how calm she is in the 911 call after what she just went through. How is Autumn doing now?
I hear that she's doing well. I believe they're supposed to be coming home maybe later today. I've been in contact pretty regularly with a friend of the family.
So if you would bring us up to speed on the search for the...
Wow. That is crazy. But thank God she survived. That's amazing. Wow. Oh, man. Top secret tapes, huh?
United 93, here Cleveland Senate.
United 93 is one of 4,500 planes in the sky above America. It's under the control of Al-Qaeda terrorist Ziad Jarrah. And just 34 minutes from its target, the capital. A top-secret recording from United 93's cockpit reveals what happens in its final moments. Few people have ever heard the tape.
You could hear the sound of the wind passing over the wings. So there was a lot of background noise, but even so, it was fascinating.
You could hear the scuffling. You could hear people moving quickly. The sense was that there were several people working together. You could hear a hijacker being hit with some type of object, and you could hear the pain that he felt when he was hit. And it was a cry and a wail as if he had been fatally struck.
All of a sudden, Saeed, one of the hijackers in the front, yells, "Fight!" And his buddy said, "Yeah."
They were realizing that the passengers and crew members were coming to get them.
We started to see change in the aircraft's flight. The airplane started making some pretty extreme maneuvers. Turn to the north, it turned to the south. It did like a 270-degree turn. I didn't know what was going on there.
Cleveland enlists the help of a nearby light aircraft.
We're 56865 Blue Center. We have Boeing 757. Can you see him up there, sir?
We've got him.
What altitude does it appear to be he's at?
He's probably 8,000 feet. He's behind us and only about 1,000 feet above us.
I advise you stay away from that aircraft. Go north as fast as you can.
In the opening moments of the passenger fight back, the terrorists lose altitude and veer away from their target on Washington, D.C.
And then they ran up the length of a 757 with all their improvised weapons, and you could hear them coming. And we could hear it in the recording. It became louder and louder, people yelling, and I'm thinking maybe they should have just done it quietly.
It was smashing and just sounded like things were being banged around and commotion. And then we all heard Tom's voice. All of us just jolted. He was trying to get home to us. You could hear him yelling in the cockpit.
They were chanting. Tom Burnett started that, in the cockpit, and they're going, in the cockpit, in the cockpit. They rattled the heck out of those guys in the front. They were terrified.
If you can, report what he's doing, sir.
It looks like he's rocking his wings, according to my observer.
Roger.
He's rocking back and forth.
By shaking the aircraft back and forth, left and right, the hijackers tried to dislodge the passengers.
You could hear the passengers and crew members outside of the cockpit door.
Really loud, and the guys yelling together and encouraging one another.
You could also hear the hijackers inside the cockpit.
They said, "Is that it? Should we put her in the ground now?" It's no, wait. And then you could hear the noise blasting them. Get him!
And then Tom said, "I'm injured." It was in a way that you had this sense that he was saying, "Don't wait for me. Keep going."
You could hear they were working together. And Dina said it was Tom that said, "If we don't get in there, we'll die."
Wow. That is crazy. I never heard that before. I never seen that before. And we have, a lot of this I have not seen.
Came in like a missile, like a fireball missile across from the New York Harbor side, I guess the Newark direction. It came in like a spear. It just speared through the building like a fireball. You can see the cut of the incision into the building is sideways. So the plane was slightly on its side, and that's why I maybe think maybe it was in distress. But then when it obviously hit, there was almost no doubt that it was intentional. I dropped the phone, and my arms dropped to my side, and I just heard everybody in the office, "Get out, get out." And then when it was hitting down on 27, just about 27, didn't hear an explosion. All of a sudden, the staircase moved, and a crack in the wall appeared, maybe about 6 or 8 inches. I kept on looking at the numbers coming down the stairwell, 15, 14, counting, and then I actually thought, I can make it. When I got out, like I've never seen war up close, but today I have.
I said that's going to go down like the first one. It came down, and it was just this sound, this rumble, and this mass cloud coming at us. It was intense.
It's like a foreign country. It's like a third world country. Seeing this take place, even 21 years later, I still have goosebumps. I still cry for these people.
At that point, we decided just to get out. People were just going crazy at that point, evacuate.
Everybody go straight. The ambulance is about 100 feet ahead.
Look at that.
Folks, we are evacuating this part of Manhattan. Get out of here now. Let's go, folks. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
How are people getting off the island right now?
Right now, they're walking. A lot of people were getting up to the bridges, and they're walking over 59th Street Bridge. They're walking over the Brooklyn Bridge. Long Island Railroad, leaving inside the New Jersey. If you want to get to New Jersey, folks, you have to go to 34th and 11th at the Jacob Javits Center. They will assist you.
It's unreal. It's like a movie. It's like a very bad movie. It's terrible. It's terrible.
8:52 here in New York. I'm Brian Gumbel. We understand that there has been a plane crash on the southern tip of Manhattan. You're looking at the World Trade Center. We understand that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center. We don't know anything more than that. We don't know if it was a commercial aircraft. We don't know if it was a private aircraft. We have no idea how many were on board or what the extent of the injuries are right now. We have, I understand, an eyewitness on the phone right now. Sir, good morning. This is Brian Gumbel. Could you give us your name?
Yeah, my name is Stuart.
Stuart, where are you right now?
I'm working at a restaurant in Soho.
All right, so tell us what you saw, if you would.
I was waiting at a table and I literally saw it seemed to be like a small plane. I just heard a couple noises. It looked like it bounced off the building, and then I just saw a huge ball of fire on top, and then the smoke seemed to simmer down, and it just a lot of smoke was coming out, and that's pretty much the extent of what I saw.
Can you tell us about the scene down there right now?
Right now, people are just on the street looking at the building. The building, there's just a lot of smoke. It's not too crazy down where I am.
How far away from the World Trade Center specifically are you?
I'm actually on Thompson Street North. I'm not too far.
It's 8:54 right now, Stuart. Can you tell me when this happened exactly?
I would have to say about 10 minutes ago.
Were you looking up as the plane approached the building, or did it only catch your attention after it crashed into the World Trade Center?
I heard a sort of a crashing sound, but I looked up quick enough to actually see something go into the building, but everything happened so fast I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at.
So there's no way you can know whether or not the plane seemed to be in trouble before it crashed into the building.
Oh no, I couldn't tell.
It's hard for us to tell from the picture we're seeing just how far down from the top that plane crashed. Have you any better eyesight to it from your vantage point?
Not really. All I know is it definitely wasn't the top of the building, because that seemed to be intact from what I saw.
Obviously, the timing of this is important. It comes before 9 o'clock. Perhaps, and we say that in hopeful fashion, perhaps not everybody was at work, because if that building was in fact crowded with workers, we're looking at probably some casualties and injuries of considerable proportions. But right now there's no way of telling that. We're on the line with another eyewitness. Sir, this is Brian Gumbel in New York.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. You're Wendell?
Yes, I am.
Wendell, can you give me your last name?
Klein.
Wendell Klein. Tell me where you are, if you would.
Well, right now I'm back in the hotel. I'm in the hotel offices here, front office.
You're in the, okay, where were you when
I was standing right in front of the hotel. I'm the doorman there. And
The hotel. Which hotel?
Marriott World Trade Center.
Right across from the World Trade Center.
It's actually right in between.
Right in between the World Trade Center.
Yes.
Okay, so you were standing outside, and tell us what you saw and what you heard.
Well, what I heard first, an explosion, and I just figured that it was a plane passing by. Then all of a sudden, stuff just started falling, like bricks and paper and everything. And so I just kind of ran inside to get away from the falling debris and glass and so forth. Then after everything stopped, because it was falling in the street and the cars were crashing into each other. And then when it kind of stopped, I heard a guy screaming. And when I looked over, there was this guy that was on fire. So I just kind of ran over and I tried to put the fire out on him. And he was screaming, and I just told him to roll, and he said he can't. And then another guy came over with his bag and kind of put the flames out on him. So right now, he's being taken care of. I just had everyone call the ambulance and stuff so he can help him out.
He caught fire as a result of the falling debris?
Yeah.
How much debris? Can you give us an idea of how much came crashing to the ground?
It's just a lot. Bricks, a lot of bricks, a lot of glass. Enough to damage cars on the street, make cars swerve into each other, that kind of thing.
I hear alarms going off down there. What's happening?
That's our hotel alarm, and basically, I guess that went off automatically. They've evacuated everyone in the hotel, and evacuated all employees.
They have evacuated the hotel?
Yes.
Immediately?
Yes.
Are you hearing anything, Wendell, about what kind of a plane it was, or how many were on board?
No.
All right. Mr. Klein, thank you very much, sir. I understand Teresa Renault is with us right now. Ms. Renault, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
This is Brian Gumbel. I'm down on 59th and 5th. Where are you?
I am in Chelsea, and we are at 8th and 16th.
We are the tallest building in the area, and my window faces south, so it looks directly onto the World Trade Center. And I would say, approximately 10 minutes ago, there was a major explosion from probably, looks like about the 80th floor. It looks like it's affected probably 4 to 8 floors. Major flames are coming out of the north side and also the east side of the building, yes. And it was a very loud explosion followed by flames, and it looks like the building is still on fire on the inside.
Which building are we talking about? The one that's westernmost?
Let's see. Yes, sir.
Did you hear the explosion from your position?
Yes, we did. As a matter of fact, we heard it, and because I was just like standing there pretty much looking out the window, I didn't see what caused it or if there was an impact.
So you have no idea right now?
There's another one. Another plane just hit. Right. Oh my gosh! Another plane has just hit. Another building flew right into the middle of it. Explosion. Right, God! It's right in the middle of the building.
This one into the east tower.
Yes. Right in the middle of the building. And right now, that was definitely looked like it was on purpose.
You saw a plane?
Yes, I just saw a plane go into the building.
Why do you say that was definitely on purpose?
Because it just flew straight.
How could it not be? God.
It looks like it's about
Sorry.
I would say 15 floors lower than the first building, and there's now flames coming out of that building as well. They're both completely on fire.
Now, Teresa, hang on with us 1 second. We're gonna re-rack the tape of when we were talking to you to see if we can tell.
Okay.
We can't see anything. We can't see a second plane in the picture. There we see the explosion.
What? Oh, jeez. No. Oh. That's the one. Isn't that the one I just played? Think so. Here. Damn it.
We're going to join another one of our New York affiliates, WABC, for their live coverage.
Okay.
Overhead, and then all of a sudden, I thought it sounded kind of loud, and I looked up, and all of a sudden, it smashed right dead into the center of the World Trade Center. Big flash of flame, fire coming up from all over, and all the bricks, the huge hole right now. It almost like the plane probably went through. I'm not sure.
Winston, can you see? Are you on the north side there where the plane made?
The second plane's getting ready to hit.
A huge hole. One of our earlier witnesses, Libby Clark, said not much of the plane came down off the building. Much of it went right into
the building.
It's in the building, from what you can see.
Right.
Now, can you see if there's a lot of debris downstairs, Winston?
No, because it looks like it inverted. With the impact, everything went inside the building.
Inside.
The only thing that came out was a little bit of the outside awning. But I'd say the hole is, I'm just going to look right now.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd say the hole takes about,
They're
looks
quick.
like 6, 7 floors were taken out. And there's more explosions right now. Hold on, people are running.
Wait, so hold on just a moment. We got an explosion inside.
The building's exploding right now. You got people running up the street.
Okay.
I don't want to know what's going on.
Okay, just put Winston on pause there for just a moment.
Okay, the whole building just exploded some more. The whole top part.
Okay.
The building's still intact. People are running up the street. Am I still connected?
Winston, this would support probably what Libby and you both said, that perhaps the fuselage was in the building that would cause a second explosion such as
Well,
that.
that's what just happened then.
That
No.
certainly-
People are running up.
We're getting word that perhaps.
Okay, hold on. The people here everybody's panicking.
All right, Winston, Winston, let me put Winston on hold for just a moment.
Okay, I don't know how much longer this thing. I'm inside of a diner right now.
Well, Winston, you know what? If you could give us a call back, I just don't want to panic here on the air. Let's just take some of our pictures from News Chopper 7. Now, one of our producers said perhaps a second plane was involved, and let's not even speculate to that point, but at least put it out there that perhaps that may have happened. The second explosion would certainly back the theory from a couple of eyewitnesses that the plane fuselage perhaps stayed in those upper buildings. Now, if you look at the second building, there are two, that both twin towers now are on fire. Now, this was not the case, am I correct? A couple of moments ago. This is the second twin tower now.
All you got to do is rewind.
And we're going to check. Ran into the north side of the World Trade Center. As you can see, the second explosion that you're looking at now, the second twin tower, town at the time, and he is on the phone with us live. Dr. J, what can you tell us?
Hello, Steve. I'm actually uptown at 86th and Riverside. I can see the World Trade Center from about half the building up to the top. And about 5 minutes ago, as I was watching the smoke, a small plane, it looked like a propeller plane, came in from the west, and about 20 or 25 stories below the top of the center, it disappeared for a second and then exploded behind a water tower, so I couldn't tell whether it hit the building or not. But it was very visible that a plane had come in at a low altitude and appeared to crash into the World Trade Center.
Dr. J, we're going to take a look at videotape just moments ago of the second plane hitting the World Trade Center. That is spectacular pictures. I don't know if you could see the plane, and that too was a passenger plane, if perhaps some type of navigating system or some type of electronics would have put two planes in the World Trade Center with...
Oh my God. Ding dong. No. Oh my gosh. This guy has no clue.
Gotta say, something hit the building, and then something hit both buildings.
We saw clearly, we didn't see the first one, but we saw clearly that a plane deliberately crashed into one of the upper floors of the World Trade Center. That was the second plane. So 2 planes crashed into the upper floors of each of the World Trade Center towers. And I understand now that the Port Authority headquarters are in one of those buildings somewhere near that location.
Jim, I don't know whether we've confirmed that this was an aircraft, or to be more specific, some people said they thought they saw a missile. I don't know how people could differentiate, but we might keep open the possibility that this was a missile attack on these buildings.
I must say that we have an eyewitness who said it was a large plane that crashed first. And then as we were watching the live picture here in the studio, we saw a plane crash into the other tower of the World Trade Center. And again, let's just to be sure, there it is. There it is. The plane went right through the other tower of the World Trade Center.
That is a very hard thing to watch.
And
these are incredible pictures that we're watching this morning. These, thanks to our affiliate WNYW in New York. You are looking at this picture. It is the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, both of them being damaged by impacts from planes. We saw one happen.
These planes, or these towers here, were like the Statue of Liberty in the White House. It was a American, I mean, people could look at those Twin Towers and know that that was New York. That was New York. The United States. It was recognizable by everybody.
And now you've got, you're showing the other aircraft coming in.
Devastating.
Looks to me like it would be from the west into the other tower. those planes could be, should be, normally would be under air traffic control, but it is also entirely possible for aircraft to fly into, through, or over New York, or in this case into a building in New York, without being under the control. And we use that word advisedly. All that means is information is what air traffic control is, and just operate and do whatever they want if they don't follow the rules of air traffic control.
I affirmatively thank you very, very much for your insight. And the longer we talk, the less convinced many will become that this was an accident. We thank you very much for your insight.
More information on that just ahead. Now we want to bring in Todd Harris. Todd, on the scene, saw what happened. Todd, are you with us?
Yes, I had a perfect view, and the plane was coming in. I noticed it a second before it hit the building. It looked like it was moving slowly. It lined itself up to hit the building directly.
Are you talking about the first plane or the second
First plane.
And Todd, tell us exactly where you are, where you had this great view.
I was on.
Well, I was in shock too.
Like a dead-on view of the
And I watched this on
Todd, hang on,
TV.
we're going to continue our conversation. Leon has something to jump in here with.
I watched this on TV all day long. I was a manager in a store, and I took every TV out of the store and gave it to every department so that everybody could be up to date with what's going on. Even though we're in Oklahoma, I mean, I don't know anybody that was in that situation in New York. I've never been to New York. But that doesn't mean that my heart wasn't with these people. This was devastating to everybody, and it could have happened anywhere. And hopefully the rules that we have now, it won't happen again.
Yes, I'm checking the wires even as we speak. The Associated Press is reporting right now that the FBI in Washington is investigating reports that these two plane crashes are the result of foul play. There is a report here by the Associated Press of a possible plane hijacking. They don't say two, they say a possible plane hijacking. Let's go to Kelly Arena, who's on the phone right now from Washington. Kelly? Hello, Kelly. Kelly Arena, are you there? All right, Kelly Arena. There's Kelly. Kelly, what is going on?
Okay, well, an FBI official has just told CNN that they are investigating, but they have not yet determined whether or not this was indeed a terrorist act. The official that I spoke to said that so far there has been no communication, no one claiming responsibility for either of those crashes. There is an investigation underway. If there is anything to be said officially, it will come out of the New York City field office of the FBI, which is right now involved in that investigation to find out whether or not it was. But I have to tell you, I repeat, right now the FBI has not determined whether or not this is a terrorist act, although they are investigating.
All right, thank you very much, Kelly Arena. We appreciate that.
Let's go. Yes, go ahead and bring back in Todd Harris. Todd, are you still with us? We don't have Todd. Okay, once again, if you're just joining us, the breaking story that we're following out of New York City, within the span of 18 minutes, two separate planes crashing into the World Trade Center. The rescue operations underway. Not clear. We're going to show you. This is the second plane after the first tower was already on fire. This happened just minutes ago. We'll let the pictures tell the story. You saw it live here on CNN as it happened. The plane crashed right into the side of the World Trade Center, causing a huge explosion. Now, as we speak, and we're showing you live pictures now, smoke and fire taking place in both towers of the World Trade Center.
And it appeared that second
Oh,
plane.
man. Terrible. I don't think this is something that most of us will ever forget. I'm just glad that now they have so many things in place to keep this from happening again. Ooh. That's sad. CNN. And the hijackers get no attention here. Oh my gosh. What?
About 20 minutes into the flight, I hear a loud boom. And as you can imagine, everyone on the plane was kind of zoned out and doing their own thing, and you hear this boom. And I think everybody's immediate thoughts were, did you just hear that? You know? And then we felt a shaking. And then a few moments later, the oxygen mask deployed across the entire cabin. Then I started seeing things kind of blown out the window. And
I'd be scared to
as you
death.
could probably imagine, panic ensued, especially amongst the passengers. As they were taking care of her and the nurse was doing CPR, this guy puts himself in front of that hole. And the hole wasn't massive. It was just, it's still a big hole. But putting himself in that position so that the wind wouldn't be so violent and that woman could be cared for a little bit more. And I distinctly remember his hands being like very bloody. And I couldn't tell if it was the woman who was bleeding or if it was him bleeding from all the broken glass. The crew or the passengers and people around him are literally pulling her back into the plane as in an effort to not have her fly out. I'm frantically just typing, flights going down, Dallas to New York City. There's been an explosion. I don't know what's happening. And I haven't even gone back to the video to see the words that I was saying and what I was trying to get out. I do know that I was misspelling everything. Just in an effort to get some communication out there. The most important thing was for me to reach out to like my family and the people I love.
It's so scary.
Just the thought of not being able to do that, was just like a very like gut wrenching feeling.
Just call 911. Don't be afraid to call 911 about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody's over at Zav Girl or Ryan Upchurch. I wonder what National Geographic's saying. Probably something technical.
Purdue University worked with the American Society of Civil Engineers to create a science-based simulation to show the impact for the
How many people think that this was Al-Qaeda or, all these, this country over there, or Iraq, or do you think that this was government related? I wonder. I just wonder what people think. I was looking for the memorial that they have now for these victims. Okay, there it is. What in the world is that? Oh, has anybody seen this movie with Nicolas Cage in it? I watched it, but I couldn't watch it anymore. Oh man, that was sad. Where'd it go? Wonder why they don't have anything on it. See? Nothing. It's like they took it down. But they do know who this man was. They found out who that man was. It's terrible. Very terrible. And you can learn all about this. Wow. People that don't know about 9/11, they should learn about it. Don't let these people, their lives not mean anything, you know. And for anybody that was affected by this, my heart and my soul and my prayers go out to you forever and ever. This is something that never should have happened. Never should have happened. This was very hard on everybody all over the world. And it caused a lot of PTSD. I've seen this. I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
And there's somebody got the business class, and you can't read the business class, so they got names or something. Can you describe the person that you said?
I can't even understand it. So I was a flight attendant. It's crazy. This is just crazy.
Came in like a missile, like a fireball.
Didn't we just see that? I definitely don't need to see this again. Yeah, it's happening in Ukraine. Yeah. This is so sad. It's so sad. "21 years ago. Gosh. It's terrible. I am going to get off here, and I am going to see what's going on YouTube. But I got a candle going. And I will say prayers tonight for everybody who's been affected by this, who has had loved ones that they've lost because of this. And I hope you do the same. Hope you have a good evening and stay safe. Good night, you guys.